my biggest causes in doing this radio show. That's one of my biggest purposes in doing it, is to get people to understand that you're not weird, you're not a freak, you're just interacting with aliens, which is, by all religious standards, if we look at religious books, are beings that are more advanced than us. So it's an honor. Some bad intentions, some good intentions, just like with people. But a lot of things can make this come up. And to go back real quick to our friend on the website who has some pretty extreme ideas of predictions and doomsday type things that are going to happen. A lot of people get those. And quite frankly, I went through that phase for about 6 months. It was about a year and a half ago, I guess. And I got into the conspiracy web pages. God, I mean, if you want to mess around, it's interesting stuff to look at, and some of it's accurate. But like I said, anybody has a voice on the internet, and it's hard to know who's credible and who's not. And sooner or later, people start tying X to Q, and it seems to equal Y, which, how do you add letters anyway, So you can get so deep into that crap. Like I said, I personally thought the world was going to end tomorrow for about 6 months. I really did. I saw these signs that these things are going to happen, and these government conspiracies and all these things were going on. And after 6 months of thinking it was going to happen every day and it didn't, I eventually realized that isn't really a sound way to look at things. And even if there is a major event in the world, does it affect me? How will I let it affect me? That's, I think, as kids of the hippies, which is what my generation is. That's what, I mean, some people call us the MTV generation. I prefer to be known as the hippies kids. I'm pretty proud of the quote unquote hippie generation. I just had a brain fart. My God, my train just completely derailed. Kids of the hippies. I sat around thinking about hippies dancing around and gone. Anyway, let's call our generation the kids of the hippies and not the MTV generation, because God, what a mess. You guys ever have that happen? I guess I could take this out of the radio show, but I'm not going to. I'll just leave it in because it's hilarious to me. I'm just trucking along, yammering about something. All my brakes lock up. Like I forgot what the hell I was talking about. All right, well, moving forward then. I was talking about I thought the world was going to end. That was it. It didn't, and it doesn't seem to me like it'll all end on one day, or Jesus will come down and fix all of our problems overnight. That to me seems a little bit much. It didn't happen that way the first time. Are there a lot of special people on the planet right now? Yes, absolutely there are. And they should be listened to, and I think they'll be leaders as we move forward in kind of reorganizing our Earth. There's some major changes going on the government level, on the individual level, on a lot of levels. But our friend at the website at alienaddictions.com really freaks out and was telling everybody to leave their home because there's going to be some huge tsunami explosion of them nuking the well shut. And which is a little humorous to me, that just like, run for your lives, everyone. Like, no. Perhaps you're being a bit rash in declaring this and telling everyone to leave their homes. Plus, we've all seen that New Orleans historically does not leave when a danger is about to push water into town. So, what's the point? I'm kidding, New Orleansites, kind of. I mean, I would have gotten out of there before Katrina. But anyway, that was a joke. Is it too soon to joke about Katrina? I know a lot of people died. It's a horrible thing. Sorry. I'm a bastard. Anyway, he sees all these predictions, and he's listed several of them on the website, and I think they're all still up there. God, I hope so. I'll go look and see, or go check it out at alienaddictions.com, and you can see that I don't believe any of them have happened. That's a nice thing with predictions, though, is a lot of people don't attach dates to them. Like, someday, that magical day of someday, this will happen. Like, well, shit, if you say at some point between now and the end of the freaking universe, this will happen, odds are pretty good it will sooner or later. I mean, it's a long time. But this is something that's very common for people who are, quote-unquote, awakening. And the awakening process, from what I've been taught from the beings that I've communicated with, and I had excellent communication with them for a long time, and it's been slightly less since the car accident, mostly because I haven't pursued it quite as strongly, because right before the accident, I was being told, head out of the skies, you got to be down here on planet Earth, that's why you're here, we're all where we're at for a reason, and you got to be where you're at. And I'm making an effort to do that. And it's hard to do when you have tight communication with them. But long story short, 2012 is a majorly significant period of time And as we look back, there's a lot of interesting dates that correlate with the Mayan calendar and with a lot of different calendars that add up perfectly. And we'll go into all that. I don't want to get into the details of it right now because it loses a lot of people. There's a lot of numbers involved. Is that a good reason? Like, I sound smart now. There's a lot of numbers, so I don't really want to talk about it. No, there seriously is, though, some amazing numbers if you really do research it. But try your hardest not to freak out that the world's going to end tomorrow, because it's really hard on you and your family, in all seriousness. That's a bitch to deal with. It really is. And it's historically always been inaccurate. So are there major changes going on? Yeah, every day. My God, look at the last 2 years on planet Earth. It's been insane. But look at other times. Look at World War II. Look at, God, when the nukes went off in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, how scary that must have been for so many people. This is not new. A lot of people have been through this before. So try not to react that way. And if people are reacting that way on the website, try to maybe throw them a bone, but it's tough to do. It's something you've got, I think, realize on your own sooner or later that it's not going to happen. And it's a humbling experience. I've been through it. And just sort of ignore them after that, I guess, because a lot of people feed off attention, and they'll take any kind of attention, whether it's you trying to convince them the world's not going to end and they want to convince you it is. Just let people like that talk themselves, and then they can keep yapping. And if they're the only one listening, then that has something to do with the content they're putting in their message, I think. So just an idea on how to deal with those people, because more will come along. It's just kind of part of the awakening process for a lot of people. But the awakening process, a lot of things started off for me. Like I said, it was kind of conspiracy websites. I've been able to talk to ghosts since I was a kid, and I had a ghost from my past come to me and kind of kicked it off and said, actually research our family bloodlines, which ended up becoming fascinating. Things that I did not know lay in my family background did, which was kind of cool. But at the same time, I'm alive in 2010, so, big deal. It's 100 years in the past. But we all are literally made up of our ancestors. So it's good to know who your ancestors are, know a lot about them, because that is part you. That's how you know yourself, and the best way to do it. But that's kind of how it started, and you get into these things and you start reading things online, and some of it's pretty out there. Many people consider what I'm talking about right now pretty out there, and that's fine. Some people just don't understand or have a different reality, and everybody's got their own reality. There's not one. We all have our own that we form. But what people run into soon is pretty soon they try to float a conspiracy theory out at the Thanksgiving dinner table. Hey, did you guys hear that the Greys are cyber bots and they're going to take over our bodies? Which I do not believe. I think they're the good guys from what all I've encountered. And then the whole family's looking at them like they're a nut job because it's Thanksgiving dinner, and most people don't think about that shit. And when they do, it's for a short period of time in their lives. So all of a sudden, Thanksgiving dinner is completely silent, and even the dog's freaking looking at him. He's busy licking his crotch or whatever. Like, what the hell? You talking about Aliens at Thanksgiving dinner? Well, yeah, it's true. I'm just letting you guys know. So if you ever encounter one, you can beware. It's very bizarre to go through. But there's been a culture created to make people not believe things that are out there. And like I said, our religious nature as we get to beings that are not humans. I mean, that's... bottom line, that's what it is. So there's been this culture created to make people like that feel crazy. And then you do. You're going through all these changes and experiencing all these things, and many times hearing things talk to you that you can't see, which is scary, especially when you hear that schizophrenia is quote-unquote hearing voices. Like I said, there's been a culture designed to make people think they're crazy who are going through these things. Intentionally, not intentionally, I think a mix of both. But think of it this way. Let's look at it conservatively and say, what is prayer? Prayer's relatively widely accepted, I think. And I think most religious people who go to church would say, I've talked to God, yeah. I pray to him, I talk to him, and he talks back. Okay. I talked to him, and he talked back. Are you schizophrenic? No one says that. People tear up. Oh, what a wonderful experience. Oh, it was great to talk to God.